They won't touch the Cheerios anymore. You've got on that. So here's the thing. I am in there all of this time thinking I am right. And wait till I show them when I get home. And Dino and I would walk the track daily, and we would share our devotionals daily, and God was doing a new work in us. Yeah, right. I mean, it was really happening, and it was happening. You know, you could just think that you have it so together. But if you ever saw you from God's perspective, you would gasp. You would just go, I don't believe they're seeing this. Oh, but you just think you're like all together. And that's what arrogance does. It just fools you. You have no clue it is even happening. And they had this big raid because there was a big mishap in the shed where they did all the body repair, all the mechanical repair stuff. And we were next door working in the warehouse, and we had no idea this guy's mechanical shop was growing this big wheat field out the back. One thing led to another, and the whole thing finally got busted, like it would never get caught. You used to crumble it up in their rip bags and then carry it in and smoke it, because we were outside the gate. Listen, this was insane, because when they came and arrested me, and I had no clue what they were there for, I had no idea that I couldn't do the things I was doing. Remember? Because it was my way. I didn't even know what I was doing, but it was all right with me, because there's a way that seems right unto a man, right? But its end is what? Yeah, and that's what was happening, right? It was it. But it seemed right to me, that was good enough, because I didn't want to waste money on attorneys and waste money on accountants, and people were going to tell me what to do. My way was going to work. And they ripped us out of there. Everybody who might have potentially been involved or not involved, just for the protection of everybody. And there I was sitting for 40 days. For 40 days. Sounds like something coincidental. There I was sitting for 40 days. And right in the middle of it, you have to understand, I had no clue where I was. There I was in just a pair of boxer shorts and a t-shirt and a pair of socks, and you know, everything was wet because of the humidity, and you just don't know you have your Bible and wet pieces of paper, and you don't have anything else. And somewhere in the middle of this, while I was just completely consumed with God now, and of course working out, you know, at that point I was in really great shape. Right now I'm just a well-rounded person. So, do you know who he used to watch me? I run 15 miles a day. You know, they just think I was insane. I tried to run, one time I was dressed, the door open, and I was convinced, it was New Year's Day. I said, that's it, I'm ready, I could run a marathon. I was already hitting 20 miles. And I started running, and I did it, and I was up, I was on there. And they called the yard for count time. If anybody knows what that is, of course we do. And I'm saying, I just hit the 20th mile, and I'm running, and there's a lieutenant walking, who was a runner. And we had like built this relationship already. And I said, LT, please, I'm doing it, I'm at 20, I can do it. Let me run to a count. I mean, we're talking about a work camp with 125 guys that is in 2 buildings. They couldn't count us. I mean, this was nothing. So he goes, Dominic, I wish I could. I can't. You got to go in. I said, ah! So the longest I've ever run is 20 miles. Begging my way the whole time to go more. And then God put us in that PC situation, put me in that situation, and there I was that one day halfway through it, and God said, who do you think you are? Who do you think you are?
I will.
And I was like, and then that was it. And then God did the real breaking part of the arrogance and the pride, and that's when all that stuff. So just because you think your cocaine and your pot and your pills and your drink and yeah, it's all gone. Be careful, because there's the behavioral stuff that gets you that you don't know. You think you have enough money so you're bulletproof, or you don't know enough people you can just pick up the phone and they got your back. You think all those things are straight, and what do you know? What do we know is true? Yeah, right. It's not true. That stuff really doesn't work. So over the years of my career and over the years of my life, I've owned multiples of businesses, and I've done lots of things, and I've been lots of places, but all of a sudden God just crushed this whole thing and said, look, this is my way or no way. I called a friend on the telephone, and I said, hey Dennis, how you doing? Just calling to say hi. Well, you see, because I had come in from the morning work, and it was a few minutes before they called us to lunch, before you go back out to work in the afternoon. I was on a work call. And I called my friend Dennis, who I watched him get saved and get married and finally go to Alaska and get his professorship teaching as a professor in Anchorage, Alaska. And I called him one day, as I would normally call every couple of months, say, how are you? He was falling apart because Leah lost it. Something happened. She snapped. And every possible evil thing that one spouse could ever do to ever hurt the other, as magnified as your imagination can be, that happened. And she snapped. And I caught my friend Dennis at just the moment when he answered the phone, but he was at his deepest point of falling apart. And you can imagine how devastated I was because I love Dennis and what can I do? And then you have 1 minute and your phone call will expire. After 15 minutes, you're done. So you don't have time to ever build anything. I called him back the next week.